coffee. I think we'll keep going. I guess we'll start with the raffle. Adam, if you want to come up and we can draw for the tickets.
This is your winner. Would you like some cheese? Donate, right? Oh, that's right. Oh, they're coming with coffee right now. No.
Frank, your business card doesn't count.
No, it does. So the grand total today, we've got $745 raised for ASHRAE OVC. So thank you, everyone. And we also have Frank's business card, so we're covered. So with that, we get to $765. So thank you, everyone, again, and we'll start off with a draw here. Okay, I'll do it. 392, 2, 3, 4, 4. Anyone? All right, it's good. Thank you. So thank you again to In-Air Environmental for donating the tickets. And congrats, Adam.
Thanks, Adam. Next, we'll get Peter to come up and introduce a new summer activity we're going to have with ASHRAE this year.
Awesome. Thanks, Abby. Yeah, so this summer I was thinking about getting a bike ride going a little while ago. It seemed like a lot of people were into it. I think cycling in Ottawa is a sport that's sort of developing more and more, and people looking at it as a good thing to do. It's a really good way to see the city. We do have the NCC out there. The mandate is to make it so that our city maintains the beauty that we have, and we're fortunate to live in. Yeah, come on out and join the bike ride. We got this good flyer here. I really appreciate that we kept the name that I proposed earlier, because that's really sweet. I like that a lot. But yeah, so it'll be 3 weekends in the summer. On the Saturday, we'll go to Camp Fortune and do some mountain biking. So that's going to be for sort of the more advanced riders. If you've done mountain biking before, it's a great time, but there is a huge risk to it. So definitely not for everybody, but for those who might have an old mountain bike that they used a couple years ago on Canal Lakes, and then thought, hey, let's try it again. It'll be a good time. I'll have some demo bikes there from some local shops that will be supporting the event. So you'll have some of the latest and greatest for mountain bikes that you can ride completely for free. So definitely consider grabbing one of those and heading on out. Then on the Sunday we'll go for a bike ride on the road, so that'll be for everybody and your mother's able to do. We'll also have road bikes available for that. We'll meet at the city center downtown and then head out from there. There's one caveat to it, as June 18th the Sir John A. Parkway will be closed, so we won't be doing that. We're just going to do a different route down to Queen Elizabeth, which is also very nice. But these are, the Sunday road bike day, we're going to be taking advantage of the Sunday bike days. It's the Nortel sponsored closures on some of the roads that we have, the parkways. So no fears of cars. I hope it'll promote some people to get out on a bike if it's something you're thinking about doing, and you'll be able to do it easily with us and the bike shop sponsoring it. Also have a couple of my friends joining us. Nick Van Egmond is the current sponsor professional. Matt Woods is the old Canadian champion. Jen Gagnon is also the female Canadian champion for downhill. And James is also a very active cyclist, so we'll have some good guides for us at Camp Fortune as well as on the road. They're all first aid at a minimum, and James is a firefighter. So we'll have lots of people there for every contingent possible. So if you're interested in it, grab the sign-up sheet there, get your email on it. I will say that I'm a fair weather rider, so if there's rain, it's not happening. But we've got nice sunny skies. It's going to be a good time. That's why I've got the 3 weekends, just so if there's one that's bad weather, there'll be a likelihood we can get another one. But yeah, sign up there on the website, and I'll send you an email out probably 2 or 3 days beforehand if we're going to go through with it. And then if you want to have a demo bike ready for you, send me an email about that as well, just your sizes, sort of approximately how tall you are. I don't need to make a weight or anything like that, but just your height is good to go. All right, perfect. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Pete. I think this is going to be a really fun initiative, and I hope to see a lot of you out. I'll definitely be joining the road cycling and maybe biking. But yeah, as Pete mentioned, the sign-up sheets on the website, there's registration and also a waiver that you'll just need to sign. So next I'll have Dan Redmond come up and do the CTTC Technology Awards.
Thank you, Abby. So, for those of you who don't know, the CTTC Technology Awards, it's something put together by the Chapter Technology and Transport Committee to recognize the efforts of our members for their everyday efforts in really promoting and basically, let's see, I wrote this down, outstanding achievement in the application of HVAC in our technology. So this year I have 3 awards to present. I'm going to start by calling upon George Mamari. In the category of new educational facilities, George has won the award for École des Cavaliers. Thank you, George. Next, I would like to call upon Frank Ban from Goodkey Weedmark and Associates. In the category of existing educational facilities, Frank has won an award for the Longfields Davidson Heights Secondary School Edition. And last but not least, Ross McIntyre, if you could please come on up. Again, from Goodkey Weedmark and Associates. In the category of new commercial buildings for the Sienna Canada Buildings B and C 50/50 Innovation Drive. Thank you very much, Ross.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks everyone for your submissions. It's great to see. So one last thing before I call on Bob to come up and install the new executive and board of governors, I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you to everyone for believing in me and giving me the opportunity to act as your president. Thanks to the board, the executive, and all the committee members. Without you, your dedication and hard work, our chapter wouldn't be so successful. Thanks to Sandy for everything she does behind the scenes, and to Bob for finally giving me that push to get more involved with ASHRAE. I truly have enjoyed my ASHRAE experience, and I look forward to my future involvement. Our chapter is in great hands with Adam coming in, and I ask everyone to please give him your full support. So with that, Bob, can you please come up and do the installation?
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Abby. Yeah, Abby was a little kinder and gentler. She has used the words coercion with what I more tended towards encouragement or support. But Abby, you did a great job, and I'm glad that I was able to persuade you. Not coerce, I'm not going there with that. It's now time to install our new executive and board of governors for 2017-2018. And just before we get on to that, there's a little preamble that I am going to read. Fellow ASHRAE members and guests, as your nominating committee chair, it is my honor to perform the installation of the executive for the Ottawa-Valley chapter for the society year 2017-2018. It is important to remember that ASHRAE is an engineering technical society organized to advance the arts and sciences of the engineering of heating, ventilating, air conditioning, and refrigeration to serve humanity and to promote a sustainable world. Let us remember the founding principles of our society and to assist those individuals charged to provide the leadership in the year ahead. The accomplishments of ASHRAE's objectives require the devoted efforts of thousands of members to contribute their time and talent to the activities of the society. Many ASHRAE members who have made substantial contributions to the society are here, certainly on past President's Night. That's clearly obvious to all of us who have been members of this chapter for some time. The officers and board of governors of this chapter who are about to be installed are accepting a highly important responsibility to serve during the ensuing term of office. You have elected them to their offices, and you also have a responsibility to help them in the conduct of the affairs of this chapter. To make this chapter an effective contributor to ASHRAE and to accomplish its objectives requires the coordinated effort of all the members of the chapter. Participation in chapter and society activities will reward you in your knowledge of the industry, but will also enhance your professional growth as you serve your committee and this society. As members, it is your responsibility to provide your time and talent to serve when called and to contribute your interest, ability, and constructive criticism to the building of a better chapter in society for the service of the general public and for our profession. As is true in any organized society, the authority of the direction of the affairs of the society is delegated to the officers and governors who are elected by the members. So it is my privilege now as chair of the nominating committee to present, install, and invest those who are to serve our chapter for the upcoming society year. For the office of chapter president, I'd like to call on Adam Graham. The general leadership of the chapter is entrusted to you. You will act as chair of the board of governors, act as the chief executive officer, and be part of all committees. As chief executive of the chapter, it will be your responsibility to see that the policy directives of the society and of your board of directors are carried out. You are the one to whom the members of the chapter can and will direct their criticisms of chapter policies and activities regarding the operations of the chapter. The service of president of the Ottawa-Valley chapter carries with it a great honor, a real responsibility, and as I'm sure many of you in this room know, a certain amount of hard work. Adam, do you promise to fulfill the duties and responsibilities of your office as specified in the manual of chapter operations?
I do.
Excellent. On behalf of the chapter members, I'm very pleased to install you as chapter president and wish you every success in your term of office. I'm sure there will be a photo op if you can just stay up here or just be available. For the office of president-elect, I'll call on Dan Redmond. As principal assistant to the president, you will at all times be prepared to assume the duties of the president should the president be unable to attend chapter or board meetings, and also such other duties as may be delegated to you. Dan, do you promise to fulfill the duties of your office as specified in the manual for chapter operations?
I do.
Excellent. On behalf of the chapter members, I am pleased to install you in the office of president-elect of the Ottawa-Valley chapter. For the office of chapter treasurer, I'll call on Chris Fudge. There he is. Okay, Chris, it will be your duty to prepare the budget, receive all money, to pay all authorized accounts, and to give due accounting financially whenever you are called upon. Chris, do you promise to fulfill the duties of your office as detailed in the manual for chapter operations?
I do.
On behalf of the chapter members, I'm pleased to install you in the office of chapter treasurer of the Ottawa-Valley chapter. For the office of chapter secretary, Aaron Dobson, who has kindly accepted our nomination and recommendation for the position. Aaron, it will be your particular responsibility to keep due records of meetings, attend to correspondence, and be an aid to the senior officers of the chapter. Aaron, do you promise to fulfill the duties of your office as specified in the manual for chapter operations?
I do.
On behalf of the chapter members, it is my pleasure to install you in the office of chapter secretary for the Ottawa-Valley chapter. And now for the Board of Governors. The following chapter members have been elected as governors for the Ottawa-Valley chapter for upcoming year 2017-2018. Richard Cameron, returning for another term. Chris Frawley, also returning. Adrian Matani, also returning. Adam Moons, also returning. And new to the board this year is Jacob Huff. Welcome, Jacob. Very pleased to have you on board. For the others, welcome back. Also glad to have you back. Thank you. Because of your demonstrated interest and activity in society affairs, your fellow members have elected you to represent them on the Board of Governors. It will be your responsibility to meet as a board, to deliberate, take action on any matters that come before it. Since the Board of Governors is the governing body of the chapter, it is an honor and a privilege to serve on it, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to this activity and install you as the members of the Board of Governors for the Ottawa-Valley chapter. Fellow ASHRAE members and guests, this concludes the installation activities. Please join me in welcoming your new chapter executive, and remember they need and deserve our support. And Mr. President, if I can, there it is right there, the gavel, the chapter wishes you good luck. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Bob. Bear with me here a second. Thanks, everyone. So, welcome everyone to the last meeting of 2016-2017 ASHRAE season. Now technically my first meeting as the chapter president. So tonight, our past president's evening, I'm glad to see there's so many past presidents in the room. I think we had 24 registered, so a very good number to see, very encouraging to see everyone still coming out. First order of business is one that I'm glad to be able to be doing here, and I'd like to call up Abby Saunders, our newest past president, and present her with her certificate of appreciation from the chapter and her past president's pin. Don't lose it like George. This is the tough one. Practice this. Better at this than it looks. It only goes up here. Congratulations. And I'd like to just stress how good a job Abby's done over the last year, and I don't think we could have had a better president. So I think Abby deserves a round of applause for everything she's done. And just before I go on and blab on here, I know Gabriel Laszlo had a couple of words he wanted to say, so I'll invite him up.
Okay. Thank you for the opportunity to let me say a few words. On behalf of all the past presidents, I'd like to welcome Abby to this circle of past presidents. And just looking back in history, I'd like to mention that we didn't have a female past president until about 20 years ago. And Abby will be joined by a very illustrious circle of previous female past presidents. Well, I'd like to ask whether anybody in the room knows who was the first female past president of Ottawa-Valley chapter. That's right, it's Gemma Kerr. accepted her past president's spin. And on a historical note, I'm sure that she was the first female past president of an ASHRAE chapter in Region 2.
No, that's not correct.
Oh.
I was living in thinking I was wonderful, and somebody told me that that the chapter of Saguenay-Lac-Saint-Jean had a female president before us, but the chapter went defunct, so nobody really.
Anyway, congratulations to Abby and all of this chapter, who seems to be electing very capable presidents year after year.
Thank you for the kind words, Gabriel, and congratulations to both Abby and Gemma for being the first president. That's amazing. So I'd like to take this opportunity quickly to just say a few thanks. I'd like to say that I am very grateful to be here and thankful for everyone that's helped down along the way. But before getting into plans for next year, I'd like to give credit where it's due. I think a huge thank you to all the current Board of Governors, committee chairs, and all that have put time into volunteering to make this chapter, and society for that matter, successful. I think that's, goes without saying. I had a few people in here that I wanted to give some special thanks to, and I started looking around the room and I saw more faces, and my list got crazy big, so I figured I'd just give a general one. I think 90% of the people in this room, if not more, have done something for ASHRAE. So it is appreciated, and thank you, everyone. Again, I'd like to say congrats to Abby. Great year as president. And everyone, I think you all deserve a round of applause, so please join me and give yourself a round of applause, if not the person next to you. And in preparation for tonight, I had a chance to review a bit of Abby's speech from last year. So she made a note that everyone has an ASHRAE story. And I'm not sure if really everyone has an ASHRAE story, or if it's just probably all the people in this room and then other ASHRAE members. But, let's go with that. So my ASHRAE story, I'm really not sure how it happened. I showed up to a few meetings, and I think I said yes to volunteering to help out with a little bit of program committee work, and became the committee chair that year, and continued to do that until the next opportunity to say yes arose. And so I think Abby's words were coerced. I know that came out at one point, but I don't think that's quite the case, but it sure felt like it at the time. But in all honesty, the entire process has been amazing, very rewarding, and a great learning opportunity. Going through all the different roles through the executive, great things to be learned, great people to work with, definitely wouldn't trade it. So I am encouraged by all the interest that's been shown this year in new people getting interested. And I think that's a good sign of what's to come. And if you haven't thought about it, if you are interested in getting involved, just contact any of us board members or committee chairs and let us know. And it can start as small as helping out with a little bit of program and see where it goes from there. Now regarding the upcoming year, I'm supposed to give you a presidential theme and an idea of what to expect. So I was talking to my wife a little bit about this, and her idea was that I should suggest building a wall. I didn't know how that would go, so I figured I'd just move on from there. But on a serious note, my hope for next year, what to expect, is a lot of the same. I feel that this chapter has been very fortunate over the past decades to have strong leadership and excellent membership. This has led to a strong sense of community, We have a great mix of engineers, building owners, contractors, suppliers, such as myself. All of these events, you know, they're a great place where we can get together, interact with coworkers, friends, clients, competitors, and just set all of that aside. So I think that's something that's unique and definitely a rarity, and we should not take that for granted. So I just hope that we can continue to build on the foundations that were set by most of the people in this room, I think 24 of them, and everyone else who's been involved from the start. So to the business part, we will continue with all the usual activities. We'll be doing our monthly program meetings, tech sessions. I think those have been a hit. Got some good attendance this year. We'll be doing some technical tours, and then technical seminars. Another very important part of what ASHRAE is disseminating technical information. So those are not only good for our chapter finances, but they're important things to have done to get that information out to members. We'll continue with special events such as bowling, curling, golf, etc. And YEA and student activities, I think, has really ballooned and taken off, and I think we're getting a lot of traction at the local universities and colleges. I'd like to encourage more collaboration with the MCA and OCA and other partner organizations. I think that's been great. And you know, having more contractors involved is always a good thing, getting more people in the mix. Really, I think that's covering most of it. Look forward to another year. I want to say thank you to everyone who's agreed to help out next year, and I think it'll be a great year. In conclusion, I'd just like to thank the past presidents in attendance and everyone who's helped out. And on that, I think that really concludes my speech. So we'll move on to the program for the evening. So thank you, everyone. And I'll just pull out the next paper here. So tonight, we'll run through tonight's program, and there'll be Victor Goldschmidt will be presenting. So I'll just quickly go through his program topic and his bio. So the program is Principles of Leadership and Group Dynamics. And summary is effective leadership is essential to ASHRAE committee work. Distinction between management and leadership are brought forth together with major concepts defining effective leadership. We're going to go through group dynamics and nonverbal communication. So Victor Goldschmidt, ASHRAE Distinguished Lecturer, PhD from, he works with an emeritus mechanical engineering professor at Purdue through 1964 to the year 2000, so a good run. Currently serving as Leelanau County Planning Commissioner, as well as facilitator and engineering consultant. During his 36 years at Purdue University, Mr. Goldschmidt was responsible for educating mechanical and engineering students, including the direction of graduate research in the HVAC area. Most of his service with graduate students was with Ray Herrick Laboratories, with heavy support of the HVAC industry. During early stages in his career, he served as Director of Engineering at Purdue, Fellows in Latin America. During later stages, he served as Department Head for Freshman Engineering. Prior to his academic involvement, he worked in Applications Engineering and Development Engineering with Honeywell. He has taught almost every course in the thermal sciences offered at Purdue, as well as special upper technical level course on creative process and engineering. Trained as a Synetics special brainstorming facilitator, and is currently engaged in the development of strategic plans and problem-solving sessions. He is an ASHRAE Distinguished Service Award recipient and fellow, as well as honorary member of IIR, ACAIRE, ASURVAC, and AAF. He's from Northern Michigan, and he's here tonight to talk to us, so I'd like to welcome Victor Goldschmidt up to the stage.
like the days with overhead transparencies because you could skip them. These days without that, it's a little bit harder to skip things. So I may go faster in parts of my comments. But before anything else, I want us to acknowledge our servers. Where are they? Kirsten, Element, Barack, Kyle, and Carmelo. I'm quite sure they're here from the background, so let's give them a round of applause. Without them, we'd still be waiting for dessert. I also want to acknowledge Jacob, patient and persistent, great driver. We almost avoided 3 accidents, so you did very well today. And for all your patience. I know there was going to be another evaluation form that you were supposed to complete as a reward. I think I'm going to suggest to Jacob that he applies their creativity and email that to the people in a way that they can complete it and return it back to you and then send them to me. Why do I want 2 evaluation forms? For one, the ASHRAE one stinks. I went to talk to the, everybody agrees. You'll be amazed how many people see 15 and just write 15, 15, 15, 15, 100. That's only 60 guys. So that's one that's in process. We met with the DL subcommittee, so if you have any recommendations for improving that form, the one that you get, feel free to do that. In addition to that, I wanted to say, I say Daryl over there, he has to be honored because he's become treasurer of ASHRAEs, whether he wants to or not. Unless he does something very sinful and terrible, he's going to have to give up a whole year of his life and wonder why our airplane's so uncomfortable. Daryl, again, congratulations for your election, and you'll be moving up to be our president someday. Please select a theme that is nice. You know, there's some of those themes are terrible. The only good one, you remember which one? Love. You that one? Okay, try to beat love. All right. I want to tell you that I really appreciate being with you. I compliment you for the dynamics in your chapter. You have a strong group of people here and great endurance until the late hours of the night. So I appreciate that too. I love ASHRAE. Well, not as much as my wife, or not as much as God, but I love ASHRAE. I've been involved with ASME in leadership roles. I'm now an honorary member of IIR. I was a member of APS, American Physical Society. I was an officer in the American Society of Engineering Education. And none of them had a mission statement that was dynamic and energetic. ASHRAE has that. It also has core values to guide us. Core values like collaboration, commitment, excellence, integrity, volunteerism. And it's because of the last core value that I'm standing here before you. Our mission statement is wonderful, except for something. Be patient with me. Oh, I forgot. Students, stand up. Stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up. Students always sit with students. Ah, okay, stand up, good. Let's give these kids a round of applause. And one of them is looking for a job. If you get it, I just want a 10% headhunter's fee. If you got 10%, then it's not doing that. You'll be lucky, aren't you? If you were to only have to pay that little for a headhunter's fee. Okay. They also, furthermore, I know we have some that are not members. So I'll ask all of you who are members, raise your hand. Aha, 2 others. Okay. I see a new member here coming up on Sunday. Stand up and smile. And also his protege. I didn't have a chance to pick on you guys, but you two just stand up. Let's welcome our new members, okay? Just wonderful. I saw you smiling, so I knew you would mind, and I sat with them, so I knew they cannot be embarrassed. So I felt free to do that. Thank you. Why do I have a concern here? Look, we have a governing document, the Certificate of Consolidation. It's like the Constitution. We cannot violate that. So in fact, I would have your officers forget about reading the MCO. Just read the Certificate of Consolidation. And I don't know how can they promise. I'm glad you did not ask the Grassroots Governance Affairs Committee chair to promise to do everything that's in the MCO, because he needed a committee of about 20 people. But the part that's interesting, the words that snuck in, and I don't know, I'd like to find out where it came, and promote a sustainable world. It's with the humanity is where it stops in the Certificate of Consolidation. And I love that. I don't know of any other society whose goal expressed, although societies I was involved with, to be to serve humanity. Now put it in context. What are you doing to serve humanity? ASHRAE chapter. 1 out of 6 people in the world do not have electricity. No electricity. Sorry, no electricity. Sorry, no electricity. Do you think we'd have a peaceful tables here? There's a strong correlation between electricity and quality of life. What is ASHRAE doing in that? I've asked a question from the board in open mic. I'll ask it again and again and again. That's binding us. We are ASHRAE members. Humanity is more than our comfortable living rooms. It goes well beyond that. If that's all you take with you, I'm happy. Oh, but I do want to say something else, although I didn't want to spend too much time on this. Do you see why I don't like that original wording? The original wording, stop there. I don't want my grandchildren to have the same opportunities I have, which is the way we define sustainability. I don't want them to have the same opportunities I have. I want them to have better opportunities than they have. So if we were to add such a thing like that, I don't want ASHRAE to be sustainable. I want ASHRAE to be better, stronger than sustainable, improving, not status quo, improving. So that is my insert for that over there. Oops, better than sustainable. We have a vision statement. I'll skip it. Daryl, I want to ask you if you can tell me what it is, because I know you and I don't know what it is unless we have the paper in our hand. So is that a valid vision statement? No. It's not a valid vision statement. People do not know it. And I expect he hit that more further along. Every president has a theme. Tim Wentz is our current president. We are now, some of us, learning the theme for the first time, and you'll have to forget it in 2 months. I want to tell you a little bit that everything is in a status of change. I want to tell you our life is in change. We're surrounded by change. Change is uncomfortable. Some will be hurt. I also will tell you that change is something that calls to have a purpose, a direction, a vision. Then I'll share with you that not always are we able to have a clear vision. Sometimes we have things along the way. We'll recognize, in essence, to get to the vision, we need to move ahead with leadership. And leadership has its implications. Leadership, we'll find out as we talk, have 5 major components. To provide a vision, to equip, to empower, to edify, and evaluate. I didn't get that from a book. I was searching for definitions of what leadership was. I got stumbled. I was put in a position of management and leadership. I fell flat on my face. I read every book I could find. And being an experimentalist, after I finished my tenure, that horrible job as an administrator of professors. Can you imagine? I got rid of 2 tenured professors. Can you imagine that? And I'm still alive. But I sweated. The point is that we what I'm sharing with you is not anything I have read in any other book. Also the communications part, we'll talk, and the communications, we could spend a month on communications. I will just stress the one-on-one communications. A leader leads people, has to be in dialogue with the people. And we'll see some interesting data there, I believe. And my dreams will come at the end. Almost every organization has a fast time of increasing. Some of you are founding members of a company. When you began, you were excited, dynamic, creative. It's going to wait for the first contract to be signed. The performance keep on increasing, more and more excitement. Suddenly you got more people, you have to structure, you have to form teams. Then you find yourself planning. Then you find yourself in a plateau. I didn't draw the curve correctly. The plateau should have been longer. Because after that, the plateau, two things happen. Either you begin to fall down, or you do something to rise up. Every organization goes through that. Think of if you're in a civic group, or a church group, or a mosque group or something, getting involved with it, you will see this trend. Now, I've asked a few of you where you think you are. And I understand that. You are, I was really going to make you work, guys, but don't worry, I'm not going to do anything with those numbers. I was going to make you write it all down and give you, and collect a test at the end and grade you. But the point is here, where is the chapter right now? My perception is that this chapter right now is somewhat going like a wiggle wagon. Be careful. That plateau is not a steady state solution. The thing is, how do we take off? How do we get excited? Even if we're on a curve, how can we go more steeper? Do you want to grow? If you do, that requires change. Change is a tough thing. Here's a quiz. Imagine your answers. The question is, in order to be change agents, we must analyze our past mistakes. Yes or no? We must get 100% support. Yes or no? We must consider the past, analyze it, how we got there, and extrapolate. Yes or no? We must have a comprehensive and thorough vision statement. Yes or no? Did you come up with answers in your mind? I won't ask you to answer them. I will walk through them in a few minutes. I was very blessed by an industrial advisory board that I set up while I was in charge of a department. Great guys. Most of them VPs and OEMs in the ASHRAE business. And one of them told me, Victor, I'm going to send you to meet with this person. She was a change guru. Her consulting fees would have wiped out my whole department's fund for 1 month. But he sent me. And this was a changing moment in my life, because all my preconceptions of change that I was using as in that role of leader and manager were changed too. She said, change is simply the delta from the current present to a future. That implies it's only that delta. It implies you don't look back. I'll say it again. You don't look back. When you're doing change, it best be accompanied with creativity. Looking back is not the way to go. You just look forward. I used to tell the department when we were having some discussions, actually I wrote it, passed it, and put it in discrete locations. Those that look back will not, those who look back when driving will not see the curves that lie ahead. Don't look back. Furthermore, you must not only define the boundaries, and that could be given in terms of a set of core values, but you must also define the boundary so you start going the right direction without going to the side. Which means not to be reactionary to your environment, but proactive for the future. Don't compete with your competitors. Jump ahead of them. Being a visionary. The next component here is quite obvious. Must analyze past mistakes? No. Your subconscious is more than aware of your past mistakes. Don't plant them in your conscience. Just look at the future, even in your private lives. How many of you have something you did in the past you wish nobody in the world will know about? Let me change that. How much of you don't have anything in your past that you would not want the world to know about? Okay, so you're all been bad ones. We got together. Don't dwell on that. As a matter of fact, more and more people are coming with the conclusion that most of the illnesses we humans have is because we have not resolved those issues and grown away from them. Okay. Must get 100% support? Well, let's explore that further. Must consider the past? Extrapolate. If you extrapolate, that's not creativity. Creativity is irrational and revolutionary, not evolutionary and logical. So you want to jump ahead into the future in a creative manner. Must have a compressive third vision? By all means. Well, let's keep on going with this a little bit. Can you buy into the concept of being proactive and not looking back? If you cannot buy into that, you will not be an effective change agent. You mean to say I have to be a change agent? If you're a leader, change is inherent. The delta. Yes, it's exciting. Yes, new growth. New territories, it's unifying. We now have a clear vision, a clear future in mind from the present that we have. We can be unified, march along together. However, nobody has been in that path before. It's new. You can be afraid, concerned. There may be swamps there on the trajectory. There may be traps there. And some will be hurt. Change agents know that somebody will be hurt. As a matter of fact, it may be worse than that. It might even happen that you will find that 30% are for you and supporting your leadership style as you become a change agent. 50% will be watching you, and 20% will be blocking you. I had a challenge when I began my change agent routine. I shook up so many people that I went and asked to be fired from the dean. I said, "Dick, fire me." And then all he did was smile at me. Well, in hindsight, I wish I'd been smarter because I had him. Once you offer your boss to fire you, if he doesn't take it, you've had it. Guaranteed safety for the rest of the working days. So hindsight is always tremendous. But at that time, I'm in that department with all the things I mentioned. I got even some fellow professors to leave. At that time, they were certainly 30% only they were supporting me. And I made a mistake. I began to work with the blockers. You know what happened? They increased the number and the 30% decreased because they will turn to this group that's receiving the attention. Hence, do not focus on the blockers. As a matter of fact, another counsel that I got from somebody else, I have to pause on this one because I'd love to ask you this. Do you have it, those of you with small companies, do you have somebody in your midst that you will never take with you if you want to get a contract from a customer, but yet he's a very high producer? I see a few smiles, which tells me you do. You might call them not blockers, maybe they're just mavericks. And the mavericks are like those wild horses that you want to have a pen large enough that they can be not aware that they're in a pen. And you throw enough of the bales of hay to them so they're happy. Another smile back there, so he knows who I'm talking. He knows the one that he's thinking. He's visioning. He's putting one of his colleagues into a pen right now, I think. And but they're very producers, and you leave them there. So I'm sure this is a situation. So as a change agent, this is what you are. Don't ever expect 100% support. If you have 100% support, you're not doing something which is dramatic and exciting and dynamic. To get from one to the other, it calls for leadership. A scoutmaster may show leadership skills when he says or she says, instead goes up into a tree and he says, I see where we're going to land tonight. There's a lean-to and there's a bonfire pit there ready for us. And if we can just have s'mores when we get there. The kids are visualizing now the s'mores. They're tasting the s'mores. I can't wait to get there. Then he adds on to that, if we turn a little 30 degrees northward, we'll get there more effectively. He gives a direction and he gives a vision. The management skills of the scoutmaster would have him be sure that they all had their canteens filled with water, that they were maintaining a pace so be able to get there in time. He's worried about the efficiency of the journey. So let's keep on going. That is the vision statement. Here's Adam formulating his new vision. Here's your president-elect dreaming of something else. Here's your treasurer. Oh, you're going to have trouble with him. Over here. And the student activity chair, who knows where he is going and landing? Right, Peter? Okay. So you have chaos. Oh, he's gone. Peter missed that. What a shame. I should have sped up. Good night, Peter. Okay. Now, what we want is that. A unified vision. We'll be meeting with the board tomorrow, and one of the outcomes that will come from that board meeting will be a new vision statement. Okay? Great. Let's look at a little story here. Little child learning to do a puzzle. The mother says, look at the picture, honey. Look at the picture. Then she says, look at some of the pieces. They have nice edges. Look at the edges. What do they tell you? Then she says, I'm going to go and do some kitchen work, and then I'll come back and see how you're doing. And then after that, she comes back and peeks over the shoulder of the little girl and says, hey, you're doing pretty good there. By the way, maybe you want to notice, sometimes the colors can help you give you a hint, but you're doing wonderfully. And then finally the little girl says, Mommy, I'm done. And she says, congratulations, what a superb job. What's going on here? What is going on here? Look at the picture. But before we go that, let's look at the parallel. This chapter decides, not this chapter, a chapter decides, that was close, to try to bring 5 contractors in. So the chapter president meets with his promotion committee, members of the promotion committee chair, and they decide to have a vision. 5 new contractors will be coming to the meeting. That's a vision. And then he goes on to tell the members of the promotion chair, hey, by the way, if we were to go to Chamber of Commerce, maybe we can get some names of contractors. We're to get some of the contractors that have been memberships that are not attending. Maybe we can get some names, some input from there. From then on, he says, leave it to your hands. Let's meet later. Then he says, when wonderful 3 contractors appear, they were not before. He said, great job. You're doing the wonderful job. And finally, they meet their goal. Your strategy work, well done. They actually got 6 contractors instead of 5. What is going on there? See the similarity? There's first a vision being given. Then there's a time of equipping. Look at the edges. Look at the colors, match them. Let's get some data from the contractor, the Chamber of Commerce. Let's try to get some networking. After the equipping comes the important empowering. Empowering means getting out of the way, letting him do the job. Finally, after that is the edifying. Well done. Wonderful job that you got those to come. Look at many pieces you already put together. Edifying. You're a good kid. And finally, the last one is, well done. When it's all done, great. Let's go to bigger puzzles. Let's go get more people. I don't know where you are in this role. Envision, equip, empower, edify, evaluate. Moving from here to there. Notice the vision is the most important part. The vision is the most important part. The vision is the most important part. If you don't have a common embrace vision, you'll have more stragglers and more people not following the pace. Now, that is a leadership part that we just saw. That's the first component of visioning, is a leadership style. We have also management devices, MBOs. But what's different in between these? These drivers are from outside of the body. These other drivers are from within the body. Substantial difference. The Boy Scout have management skills and leadership skills. This calls for leadership skills. This one is more like management skills. And then we have these interesting things here, the PAOE points, which I don't know what they are. But I think I'm getting consensus from many. They are actually detractors to creativity. Wow, look at those heads going, yes, my gosh. Let's be creative, forget our POE points, and just do what we think is best to meet the mission of ASHRAE. Okay, get the picture. Complete different functions, management and leadership. Management is more about efficiency, leadership, effectiveness. Management is more about structure and metrics, where leadership is more visionary. Not that one is better than the other. They're both functions that we need to have. Recall, the Scoutmaster had a situation where leadership was desirable, but so was management. I like the words efficiency versus effectiveness for the other distinguishing factors. By necessity, a manager has to centralize and drive from the key office. By nature, a leader does not have to centralize. A leader delights to distribute tasks because he is not accountable for the dollars and cents or whatever is happening in it. The management is. So by nature, these functions are different. If there's too much management, you're going to have a situation which is archaic, uncreative, and bland. If there's only heavy leadership, you're going to have disorder and probably go bankrupt. So we need a balance of both. It's been said that the leaders are like the lead goose. Some say that the leader is like the cowboy that takes on the flock, the race horses. No, he's neither. He's not driving and he's not pushing. A leader is right there in with the flock, even if it's a case of sheep. Part of the unit. Communicating one-on-one. The sheep know, this always will know the shepherd. The shepherd knows all the sheep. It's wonderful to see these pictures where you travel to countries with shepherds up there. So I would have asked you a question, which would you rather be, a management or a leader? Some of you don't have the luxury to be able to choose. I did not. I had to become a manager first. And I learned so much, I was terrible. I could do a budget just like that, and all these wonderful things. I promptly forgot them when I got somebody else to become associate and passed it all on to him. He liked sharp pencils and Excel charts. I like big felt tip pens and easels. But in your positions, don't be afraid to realize that times you have to act like manager, but if you're going to bring about change, you have to acquire those leadership skills of envisioning, equipping, empowering, edifying, and evaluating. The equipping part, as already said, was the providing the tools. The empowering one is the one that I love to do. I'm also shy in edifying. You might see also areas between these five of which you're there. Edifying one turns out is something which is very simple if it's in your attitude. The first example of an amazing, fortunate case of edifying I had in my life, I realized of that years later when a phone call came and to somebody I had as an employee, and she talked to my wife. I'll give you the background. She was a development officer. Top-notch woman. Great. In universities, development means knowing how to beg for money. For you, development means trying to sign a contract. Okay? I know the difference. But she, within a short time, she was able to get a sizable contract. I had taken an intensive course in development before that, long enough to realize that I don't have what it takes. So I wanted to find out how she got all that money in so fast after she came just there. So I went to her office hoping to get knowledge from her, but thank you, instead she was not there. So I got a little post-it note. Her name was Donna Gastovich. So I put DG, happy face, VG, and put it on the computer, not the computer screen, but the frame of the computer. And I forgot all about it. About 20 years later, when she was talking to my wife, when she called for some other issues, she said that she still carried that little post-it note in her wallet. She was a vice president in Notre Dame by then, carrying this post-it note from a puny little guy in this department that had given it to her. I wish I'd given post-it notes all over the place. She was edified by that. She forgot that she got the highest raise in the department. She forgot that she got the first computer update. She forgot all the perks that she got because she was such a high performer. But she remembered a little post-it note. So edifying is something that we should have in our attitude as a leader, without trying to be manipulative like I was. So where are you now in here in your leadership skills? I'm going fast. I'm not giving you time to think. I saw just one of you just yawning, so I know I have to go faster yet. So we have now, don't look at the person that I was looking at. And you don't know anyone. There may have been 3 of you yawning at the same time. You don't know that. And you're lucky if not giving you a lecture with the undergraduates, you would have found a missile on your face or head. All right. The issue about vision statements, and therein the reason I indicated the shortcomings of our ASHRAE statement of vision, is it has to be unifying and known even by the vice president. Let me back up again. Because I'm switching roles from organization to another organization. I don't even intend that. Let me instead ask you, you're working in a company. Do they have a vision statement? Do you know what it is? You don't have a vision statement. I always find an example, thank you very much. I didn't sit you up. A vision statement has to be memorable by everybody, even by the CEO. Otherwise, it's not going to be a driver for unification and to drive us and make us move forwards. Let me give you I know you don't have one, so let's jump. Let me give you a few examples of chapter's vision statements. Equipped to educate and serve. They had two alternatives, industry excellence through knowledge, excellence in education, but it boils down to excellence in education, knowledge, and charity. The Caribbean lighthouse for the HVACR industries. As you notice, some of these got more and more creative. Look at the balloons they were playing with. Don't worry, I'm bringing some tomorrow. The coolest oasis of learning for the HVAC in our community. Exciting, aren't they? Let's envision, equip, empower, edify, evaluate. They have to be sequential, not simultaneously. You don't want to, certainly you don't want to empower somebody who has not been equipped. Remember, what's the definition of empowerment? Decisions made at the lowest level possible. Like a shipping clerk that was being criticized because the equipment was backing up because the pallets were not being ordered. He wrote the order for the pallets and shop foreman held up on them, and after that finally accounting said it's the wrong number and the orders did not go through until a new manager came to the plant, a graduate from the University of Ottawa, and he sat with the shipping clerk. When he found out his situation, he said, why are you so unhappy with your job? I hate it. They all criticize me when we don't have enough pallets. And they hold up the forms along the way there. So what the manager did was very straightforward. So I'm going to empower you. I'm going to ask the IT guy to send you to a training course on how to use Excel charts, and so you can order the equipment through the internet. And I'm going to get the purchasing guys to introduce you to 5 different vendors of pallets in the area. Then I'm going to give you signature authority of up to $2,000. And I'll give you an account number for that. And he did. Now, he's empowered. He can see the equipment coming down the assembly line. He knows exactly how many pallets he'll need. He calls his friends and different purchasers on the phone, says, hey, how much can you send me 10 pallets? How much are you going to charge me now? Can you send me 10 pallets? How are you going to charge me now? Picks one, goes back on the phone. Here's what we need. He already has a clearance. He's got signature authority. He gets the pallets. Now he loves his job. He was equipped and empowered. He had a vision too. Vision they would have enough room to be in the loading dock without being crowded by pallets. And vision that nobody is going to criticize him for the lack of pallets. Is ASHRAE able to empower people? We talk about it. But think. If we as a chapter here decide to do something that maybe should, I don't know why, it goes maybe to the CRC. Let me build on 3 months delay. The CRC takes your motion with other 10 motions, they amend it, maybe. They say no, maybe. Or they refer it for study, maybe. Or they approve it, maybe. Then another 4 or 5 months, it gets to Members' Council. They look at it and say, wait a minute, this requires some publishing stuff. Let's take it to Publishing Council to review it. I call it the council bounce. Then finally it bounces back up. By the time it's approved, the guys that made the motion at the chapter level are no longer there. So what I say to you, with the authority that I don't have, I'll say to you, if you have something creative and effective that's in a concert with the mission statement of ASHRAE, and not in contradiction with the society bylaws, and not in contradiction with certificate of consolidation, just do it. And when you come up with great results, then report to the CRC. Is that wild? Doesn't make sense? Okay. Isn't it exciting when we can be rebels? Did you know that change agents by nature have to be somewhat of rebels? Because they're going to a path they never taken before. And some will be hurt. The only people that like change are wet babies. All right. So I would ask you a simple question. Which one of those are you strong? Which ones are you weak between the vision there? Mini summary, what you see where we are, change is inherent. Not everybody will embrace it. We need a clear vision. Now let's talk a little bit about the 3 C's. I'm not going to expand on character. Every organization seems to sooner or later take the level of character down to the level or up to the level of the leader. He emulates it. But what I want to talk rapidly is communication. Bear with me. The root of communication means sharing. If you're in a leadership position, you're not leading robots. You're leading little humans. The communication has to be one-on-one. I tell you, this is the art and science of communication. A person, transmitter A, has a stimulus that leads to a signal that is a communication that he or she wants to transfer to receiver B. This person here may have other stimuli while listening on the top, which may influence the reception. It also at the same time may depend on whether the right brain is working or the left brain is working. Do you sense that? They are sensors that lead to the transmission and to the reception. Let's look at those sensors. These are them. What I want you to notice as well, there's not only that signal from the transmitter coming over here, there's also a feedback there of a signal that's being perceived by CB on A. This is the path in which they're looking at the body language of A. Now again, as I said, the right and left brain, I'll tell you rapidly an incident that explains that right away. Years ago, our marriage was always strong, but sometimes there were little hiccups. And one of the problems was our communication. And we finally went, aha! We were to buy a Christmas tree. And I said, honey, we have 3 options. The first option, we get a big tree. The second option, we get a little tree. The third option, we get a middle-sized tree. Which option do you want? The middle one. You want a little tree? No, I want the middle tree. I was seeing 3 bullets. Large tree, little tree, middle-sized tree. My middle was the second bullet. My left brain was structured. Her right brain received the message and she processed it with the right brain and she began to see the little trees. For all we know, they were dancing in her mind or she was decorating them already, and the little tree was one of the middle tree was one of the 3 trees. We both laughed like crazy. We wouldn't realize that, like a big aha. So sometimes you have to be aware that some of us are conveying with our right brain processing thing, and we are trying to interpret with our left brain processing side. Essentials of communication. I better hurry up. Those senses here show a dramatic case of communication. Look, their eyes at work. Look at the eye contact that they have. They're touching. She's touching the shoulder. They're tasting the same cup of coffee. They're smelling probably some of the coffee odor or a pleasant smell of the other person. Not all people smell bad. My wife smells wonderfully. Okay, I won't go any further than that. All right. Now, this is also an interesting data. from Google and Google Incorporated. Levels of intimacy, talking, like those two ladies were before. Video chat, the smell is gone. There's no taste shared. The phone, now the seeing is gone. Less and less of the sensors are at work. And the worst of all is Twitter. When you have a problem with an employee or a colleague, if you send him an email, you're doing the worst thing you can do. Invariably, the problem is compounded rather than solved. If you're a leader, you have a problem with something, if you send an email, you're not doing the right thing. It takes the one-to-one to be able to get effective communication. Unless you don't want to communicate effectively. You just want to send a message and forget it, but then you're a sloppy leader. About 10% of what we read is retained, about 20% of what we hear, and about 30% of what we see. If you get really combined things, now you're really getting to town. 50% is usually the level for that. Let's move on. You remember this. The right brain, left brain. When we're communicating, we have to know which brain is being processed. The same word can mean different things if your right brain is engaged than the left brain is. So many summaries so far, simply saying that we have senses for communication, and which ones we use the most enhances the communication. And we're probably now going home aware that we wish we had not sent that email we sent. We wish we had picked up the phone instead. But that's the verbal part. The verbal part is only about 7% of it, the actual words. Part of it, the verbal part, is the tone. You have heard this. You look at the ugliest dog you've ever seen and pet him, say how sweet and nice you are, dog, and they wag their tail. You take the ugliest dog you've ever seen and say how beautiful you are, and he looks at you because you've been talking so meanly. So the tone is important. I like this one. Please, you do that memo. Please, you do that memo. Please, you do that memo. It's solid. There. I like the one that says, I love you. I love you. I love you. See the difference? Written out is the same thing. You have to put happy faces in that one in your little email message to get the message through. Okay. Yes. Estimate how many words per minute you can read, and how many words per minute you can write, and how many words you can speak per minute. Probably have a number by now. Let's find out what it is. We can write about 30 words per minute, type about 75 words per minute, talk about 125 words per minute, and read about 200 words per minute. If you're an auctioneer, you can do better than that. You can go to 250 words per minute. And your conscious mind can process about 450 words per minute. This is why your conscious mind can occasionally jump in while you're listening to somebody, and you can be processing in your conscious mind what you pick up to listen to that. So your conscious mind is multi-channel, multitask, but it can still go on and off in where it listens to. Now, let's look at that one. Eyes. And the images that go on the eyes are received by the subconscious. I changed reference to bits per second. The subconscious works 5,000 times faster than the conscious mind. Now, I'll leave you with a question for which I don't have an answer. This is a resource. By the way, I'll just simply tell you one thing. In problem solving, if you turn to your subconscious, you can get answers in a fantastic way. If you're driving on the highway and a cat cuts across the way, it's your subconscious that tells you to slam the brakes and steer away and try to get out of the way you can't. Your conscious doesn't process that. If your conscious were at work say, oh, there's a cat. If I hit it, I'll get blood and splatter my car. I don't want to kill a cat. By then you kill 20 cats. So how can we use the subconscious to improve our communication? It's a wonderful question, and I will let you ponder that. I just thought of this 2 days ago, and I'm still working on an answer. I get bored if I teach it, if I show the same lecture over and over, I get bored, so I just try to find some complications and see how we can improve it. Body language, let's go through this rapidly. This is fascinating, you all know about it. I don't have to say anything, how our body talks to others. Hey, you can even find out when they're lying. You can even find out when they're looking for help. He got me. And also the expressions. So let's look at some of these. I'm not going to ask you to do that, but I was going to ask you to look at the 9 images and have you tell me which of those things are in presence. So let's jump right back to the answer instead. Okay, confidence, cooperation, defensiveness. When somebody comes to you worried about something, be sure you don't show the defensiveness. Try to practice the openness. Evaluation, frustration, insecurity, nervousness, openness, suspicion, so there we are. I went through those rapidly. I think you see the message loud and clear. What message are we conveying? How do we stand? How do we receive people? Environmental is a very important one too, and the whole issue of leadership and the change agent and communication. I'm just going to show you this, and I might ask you, which of those offices would you rather go and visit? Do you also want to go to an office with a lot of noise, one that's half dark and one that's freezing? Conference room, which one of these 2 conference rooms would be more productive? Oh, I just love this one. Have you ever seen an IT person helping with the connection of a cable with a hard hat on? Maybe they're hiding from Korea, North Korea, I don't know what it is, but something there. Lobbies, reception lobbies, they talk. I was assigned to a task group, and they were looking at changing boundaries of some public schools. And I visited every public school in Benton County. And I tell you, each one of them talked to me differently. You can go into a building and feel the message. When you visit somebody you don't know before, never met, what do you see? What does the room tell you? What does the living room speak like? But more than that, what do you want to communicate from those that come into your office if you have one? I don't want you here. Or, wait, I'll get off behind my big desk and I'll come and sit over here with you. You can sit in this better chair and I'll sit in this lower chair, and we'll just have a small table between us. I did that. It worked. Openness and sharing, communication enhanced, leader to being led, able to communicate. I didn't sit in the better chair. I let them sit there. I must add, in the back of all that, I had a picture my wife drew in Psalm 25:4, which is something that said, teach me ways, show your paths. And I would cheat. When I was looking at this guy that I wanted to fire, I was really looking at the art piece. listening politely. And I say, God, tell me to know what to say to this idiot. And sometimes he helped me, sometimes I was left alone to wonder. So how you arrange your office, these are left a lot to the communication. So I challenge you to look at your environment and what message are you conveying. Okay, next one, time issues. Now let me do it. What time is it? Oh, you remember. Okay. I was using you as a guinea pig. Okay, you will not be in the last slide. The time issue. The boss always late. You call the meeting, everybody comes late. I had that for two meetings until I wised up. I put the best items in the agenda at the beginning. If I only had one person, we made a decision, and everybody else that came late, too bad. And you always have these guys. I'm on show, I'm late. Run in, desperate, while everybody's waiting for you, and grand entrance. And everybody thinking, what an idiot. But he thinks he's doing great. I love to do this, and you busted my bubble, because we have some, they always do this. Now you try it. Peter's too smart. But try it on somebody else that does that. Immediately after they put the hand down, ask them what time it is. Invariably, they go like that again. But anyhow, the way that we treat time is very important. I had a contract with a company, and the vice president liked to meet with me for breakfast when we were there visiting. The first time we scheduled breakfast, I think it was for 7:30. I arrived at 7:25. He was there already. Well, next time we had scheduled breakfast, I went there at 7:15, and he wasn't there yet. So next time I went for breakfast, I went at 7:15, and he was there already. I forget what finally happened. I think neither one of us wanted to admit to it. We're trying to honor the other one, and I think we both secretly knew what was happening. We ended up having breakfast about an hour ahead of the scheduled time. Finally, the contract ended finally. Okay, proxemics. This is a fun one. Watch how close people get to you or go away from you or whatever, and see what message they're trying to give and what are you giving. I've always wanted to go to an airport. No, I don't want to go to an airport. But if I like to have a happening, if they happen to go to an airport, there's only one person in the waiting lounge. And just go and sit right next to them. You wonder what would happen. I almost did it one night, but I didn't dare. I chickened out. I still might do it. Then we gave a message. Look at this guy down here. Only 4 people in his audience, and he's standing there with about 20 feet away, lording it over them, and I don't know what he's saying, but if you and I had been in that situation, I would have gotten a 5th chair, make a little circle, and chat. Ah, that's a great one. Look carefully. And look again. And look again. Oops, no, again. Look again. Look again. Nothing changes. Nothing changes. I don't know how I got that picture. I just thought it was delightful. Okay. This is a good working group on the left. Probably a yay group. This is a typical guy like me. The old guy sitting back watching. You sweat, I'm not going to help. Have you seen situations like that? What message is being given? Is this going to be effective leadership and dynamics? So in fact, this is a proven scientific study. After numerous times visiting ASHRAE technical committee meetings, well, it was many years back in what we used to call RNT. And invariably the pattern was this. The door is over here, coming in. The chair over here, usually to the left of the leader, and also hence able to see the door, will be staff support. The upstarts usually sit over here. They want to be recognized. The mediators types normally sit there. And if this is a window here, they definitely sit there. Because a mediator likes to see the eyeballs of the other one better than they can see their eyeball. If you're trying to negotiate something, be sure that you can have more control than the opposite side has. If you can see their eyeballs clearly, you'll be hearing the messages. If they can see yours, well, don't take shades in, that's too much. Okay? And the old pros, way at the end there, usually pulled back from the chair, leaning back. Do you agree, Daryl?
See some of that, yes.
Yeah, some of that. Good answer. All right. This also is fun. How close we get to others. There's the intimate touch, but that picture is nice to show because it's really not very intimate. It happened to be the president of Mexico and it's somebody from the competing party, but I thought it showed intimacy. The real intimacy is next to that one. The personal is one handshake away. Social, 2 arm lengths. Public, about 12 feet. Now this is country dependent too, okay? I like what my brother-in-law used to say. In the United States, they want to be close enough so they can just touch. In South America, they want to be close enough that they can, get closer, intimate. But in the Middle East countries, they want to be close enough so they know what they had for breakfast. So there are different cultural settings too. So I was going to ask you, which ones of these is the most comfort to you? Well, let's move on. Again, a mini summary. Social distance, office arrangements, facial expressions, it's all that working at play game in our communication. And some of those, as we saw, are much higher percentage impact than just the words are. Let me just hit rapidly these because it's, from my point of view, extremely important. We have adverse responses. Supposing you forgot your keys at home, okay? I might say first to you, well, where are you from? Were you born in Texas? No. Where are you born? New Brunswick? Well, then, you lost your keys. People from New Brunswick are just like that. Or I might reply by saying, oh, don't worry, somebody else will come. He who comes will bless you. Bumper sticker. Or I might say, you should be careful to always watch, to be sure you don't lose your keys. Centurion. And the other one you all heard of. Where did you lose it? And what happened? And how come you're losing things like that? The detective mode. The other, the distractor, also called Bob Newhart. And the distractor says, you lost your keys. That reminds me of the time we had a vacation down to the Keys in Florida. That's one. You never had that one, did you? The other one, historian. You think you lost your keys, you're in trouble. I lost the whole car once. You had no trouble, buddy. Don't tell anybody in any fellowship hall or any place of social hour that you had surgery. Because you're bound to convey a message of 3 seconds. You have to listen back a message of 45 seconds about their terrible surgery. So those are the historians. The Hummer, oh, I don't get away with that anymore. But your wife might say something, go, and she goes on, The Hummer. I see a lot of women smiling. And so on they go. You can see these are all adverse responses, so we could role play them, it'd be great fun, but we don't have time to do that. So what is the antidote to that? Active listening. And this was slowly bringing us to a close. Active listening shows warmth and respect and concern. It is not a rescuing, it's an intentional listening. Let me show what I mean it's not a rescue. Here's a case of somebody in a well. Somebody comes here who's a really nice guy, looks at the guy in the well, and he sheds tears. He's showing sympathy. Pouring from the well. Now we have a wet person on the well. And this guy here, they show the sympathy, already have diagnosed that this guy is a loser. Because why else would he show sympathy? So he has already made a judgment factor. A victim that fell in there. Another guy may come, and he's very nice. He likes to identify with people. So he falls in the well. Now we have two people in the well. How many times do we think showing sympathy is a good move? Why are you showing sympathy? You don't know why. Or I try to identify because we heard unless you walk in the same moccasins, you shouldn't be judging. Because there should not be any judging at all in this instance. Because here comes a guy that shows empathy. No judging. He sees this in the well. Hey, hi! Hi, from down there. Interesting. I wonder, I am not smart enough to know. I really wonder why you're there. It's not, why are you there, dummy? Did you fall in? No. I am the one that doesn't have the data. I wonder why you're there. You will say, oh my gosh, man, I'm having a great time doing some research, trying to find out how many really green frogs I can find. Oh, fantastic. How many have you found so far? Oh, I found about 12. Oh gosh, have you been doing this long? Yeah, I've been doing it for a month. I really love to do it. They established a relationship. He gave feedback. He listened. He shared with him. They got deeper and more intimate. Until finally he comes with the next question. I wonder, are you planning to get out? I'm not judging you, buddy. We've had a great conversation. I'm just curious. Oh my goodness. It's 12:15. My wife was supposed to pick me up at 12 o'clock. Hey, buddy, would you mind coming back in about 15 minutes? If I'm still here, get me out of here. I'll be delighted to. I'll be back in 15 minutes. Give your wife a chance to come. There was no judgment. There was just a sharing. That's what active listening is. They established a relationship until he was able to reflect back. If you're in a leadership position, remember, you're not leading robots. You're leading little humans. They bring baggage from home. They bring worries from home. Or they bring joys from something else that happened someplace else. It affects their performance. And you're responsible for that. To be able to relate with that in a way with empathy. Empathy, notice what it was. It's not rescue. It's intentional listening. Where there's enough dialogue back and forth until the talker feels understood. I did active listening the last 10 years of my years at Purdue. I had an office in the undergraduate area of the building. I also had an office in the laboratory place, and also an office when I was head. It was wonderful. I could always hide, so nobody found me. No, not really. But in the office there, I took out the desk, went to the Salvation Army, got a cheap sofa and a cheap chair, got a little round table. I destroyed my lecture notes every year, so the next year I had to do them afresh. So I did my lecture notes there, and my door was always open. And I began to see students come. Not afraid. I wasn't sitting behind the desk with authority, unreachable. I was sitting on a dumpy old sofa. I'll give you just one case, and I still remember this case because it was heavy for me. One of the best students in that course, straight A, had a late assignment, and she brought the late assignment in, expressing apologies for that and blah, 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 blah. The more that I heard her, I said, she did not come here because of that. So I said, can we sit down? She said, sure. And we entered a stage of active listening. In about half an hour, she said to me, I just heard that my mother is dying from cancer. We cried together. Then I said, honey, I didn't say honey, sorry, I forgot what I said. Honey would have been wrong. I jumped out to my daughter there. I said to her, there's something here I cannot help you with. And fortunately, I had a counselor that I thought was solid, name, phone number available. So I did what I did with many other students. I said, may I call somebody that can help you because I cannot help you in that relationship there. They always said yes. If for some divine intervention, whenever I called the number, that guy was there too. And there were more than 20 students over the time. They went on to counseling. Active listening, they had a need. They finally voiced the need. I didn't play counselor. I didn't try to be savior. The dilemma. I tried to provide a vehicle for them to resolve. As you work with people in your own department, get to the point of being vulnerable. Get to the point that you can know about their hurts. Get to the point that you can work together. Get to the point that you have a common vision. And your leadership skills will grow and grow more and more and more. Are you ready to try active listening? If all you take from this is the awareness of the levels of effectiveness in communication, the importance of having a one-on-one, if all you can take out of this is the fact that there's a process of effective leadership which calls for envisioning, equipping, empower, edifying, and evaluating. And you take away from this an awareness that you should learn more about active listening and practice it, especially within your own family. And the issue of vision statements. Yes, we can say, do we have a vision statement for the chapter? But have you set up as a family entity, developed a vision statement as a family? You're more important than any corporation. Have you decided what you want really to be like in your service of humanity as a member of ASHRAE? You individually, forget about the chapter. What is your vision statement in your life? I wish somebody had hit me like this when I was 25. I'm hitting you now. If you want to be a good leader over your own life, if you want to be able to move and change and do more, do whatever goal you have, you need to have a clear vision towards which you're moving. And if you don't have a vision statement with your spouse if you're married, I strongly suggest you take a retreat, go to a nice retreat place, a motel or something, take newsprint and felt tip pen, and just develop a strategic plan as a family of two. Same way with your whole department. If you're a small department, if you're a group of not more than 30 some people or so, maybe it's about time you included everybody in your department and do a vision statement and strategic plan together. It goes beyond ASHRAE chapters, it goes all through life. Our leadership skills are called for continuously. Communication is the only link. An effective communicator masters active listening. I'm still working on it. I get very impatient. Now, you know, my wife and I got the secret, and I'll share it with you. When your wife or your husband begins to blah, 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 clarify whether they want a solution, feedback, or just to vent. I'm after the point of asking my wife because 90%